But I gotta be honest with you guys. This topic I did not think of. I didn't come up with it, and I don't even know where I saw it. I saw it about a day or two ago. And I was going, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what I thought of when I first heard the question. Is tournament bass fishing hurting bass fishing? And I was like, now normally I would hear something like that, and y'all know me. I'm a tournament guy. I'm like one of the biggest tournament junkies there is in the country. Like, no doubt. I mean, I don't know, at this stage in my career, I don't know, there's probably 0.01% of people that have fished more tournaments than me. Ever. I still got at least 10 to 15, 20 more years. And I'm just telling you, I just know. Guys are like, oh, I fished 20, 30 tournaments a year. I'm like, I was fishing 40, 45 a year at one point in time for like 10 years. So I've done it. I fished a lot of them. And I started when I was 14, 15, something like that, fishing a lot. So with that being said, initially you would think, well, of course not. However, I'm different than most. I'm a different guy. I think I'm concreted in objectivity. I really do. So I'm not one to sit there and always just look at one side. Now, people on comments in YouTube and social media and around the country, boy, a lot of people just like to look at it from one side. That's all they ever do. They don't even try to look at the other side. They don't try to look at it when it comes to fishing. They don't like to look at it when it comes to politics. They don't like to look at it when it comes to religion, all kinds of things. They have their stance. They're rooted in their stance. They don't care whether it's lies, the truth, anything that comes to, like, they don't care about any of that stuff. They just look at it as either that's what they want, they like, they don't even care. It's what's in it for them, what's best in it for them, whatever. I'm not too sure. And there will be people that instantly get in the comments without actually listening to what's ever being said. And I get it. It's just who they are. It's what makes the world go round, I guess, right? But here's what I thought about it first. Has tournament bass fishing actually hurt fishing? I initially thought, since that question was being asked, well, sort of, kind of. Or I can see how it is for some, most definitely. Especially where we're at right now. Where we're at right now with tournament fishing not that great for all sorts of reasons, which saddens me. Y'all know, like I've been fighting the good fight for 10 years trying to make bass fishing tournaments better. It's not in a good place right now. And I can't really argue with it. I can't really argue with anyone about why it is the way it is. I think I know why it is, but I can't sit there and say, oh yeah, it's really good right now. No, people that say that, they don't know. They weren't around. They weren't around 15, 10, 20, whatever. However many years you want to go back, it was a lot better than it is now. There's a couple trails better. A couple. Toyotas are actually, the championships by far better, but the Toyotas in general, they're still run good. They're still run the same. I still like the way the payout is. It just sucks that people aren't showing up. I think I know why, but I can't change that, right? Other than that, I think the BFLs have gone down. I think the All-American is not what it used to be. We had the Brandon Belts for a second, which was by far the best team tournament trail for however many years, 2 years in the country, wasn't even close. Bass Champs is about as good as it's ever been right now. I like the way they're doing it. Some of the other trails used to be really good. I think the invitationals have gotten worse. There's no way the elites are better. NPFL, I think, has gotten better. The NPFL might not be great, but it's gotten better. BPT, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it. Not in a bad way. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even tell you why. But in general, for who cares about that? For the general public and for the people that just like to bass fish, they're gonna look at it as, I would assume that tournaments, they look at tournaments probably in a bad light. And I get that. I get that based on maybe where they live and how tournaments are run. I'm somewhat spoiled on some of the lakes I live by, like Rayburn and Toledo, the two that come to mind. Tournaments don't even like phase anyone, especially on Rayburn. Almost everyone on Rayburn fishes tournaments that's out there fishing. There's like 20%, I'm going high. 20% of the guys that go out there and fish Rayburn are not fishing tournaments on a weekend. Maybe a little bit more. On a weekday, it's almost like 95% of people. I mean, you don't see that many boats out there, and most of them are practicing or doing something like that. So it's not a big deal in Rayburn. Toledo's way different because they have houses on Toledo, and a lot of people get out there and Toledo's a different deal. But those lakes are so big that tournament fishermen, no matter how many boats you put on it, doesn't really affect those lakes too much. So I don't think tournaments really affect those lakes and those people. And we are rooted in, like, those lakes are like fishing lakes. Like, no one's going out there. I'm not saying people won't ski and do some stuff out there, but it's such a small little group of people that do that. Those are actual fishing lakes. Now, when I go out to these other lakes, Conroe, LBJ, there's a couple more. I'm not thinking of them right now. If you wanted to throw Livingston in there, what's another one? There's quite a few lakes where people just are out there like partying, hanging out, like spending lake life, right? Those lakes I could see, those lakes are different, right? They're a different group of people that live on the lake, and so fishing is kind of not the same. It's not viewed the same. But for the actual bass fishermen, I don't know if I can understand, or I can listen to their arguments where it's like, this tournament thing has like taken away from maybe what they thought fishing really is. Okay, it's coming back to me now in the video. He made this comment. This is why it stuck to me. Most of y'all aren't in my private group. And so I just talked about this private group about, I was going to Tawakoni and I was practicing because I got pissed off that we didn't catch them that great. And I'd never really been to Tawakoni, and I went in this whole long deal in my private group explaining some things. Went to Tawakoni, that video is gonna be up for them. And I went into this whole offshore, I'm about to go into this whole offshore like approach to fishing. Okay, so remember this. I'm doing a video about how I'm going to approach my next day or the next time I go to Tawakoni, because I have a tournament coming up. I've only been in the lake like one time, now 3. But I didn't do good, so I'm going to approach Tawakoni in a different way because I have a tournament coming up. Okay? Not because I wanted to catch fish, because I have a tournament coming up, and the way I look at Tawakoni and what I have to do for this tournament. In the video, I remember the guy saying, yeah, we used to just fish and catch fish, but now every time I go out there, because it's a tournament, I'm always looking to upgrade. Like, nothing's ever good enough. Nothing's ever, like, you're always like, oh, I caught 3-pounders, now I gotta catch 4-pounders or stuff like that. I agree that, like, I am almost always in tournament mode. Like, YouTube has made me, on occasion when I'm going to make a YouTube video about fishing, which happens very rarely, because I just use footage of my practice and tournament stuff, will get me to go out there and like fun fish. And so I have a bad problem about not fun fishing, because there's a lot of things I find way more fun to go do, but it's not gonna win me a tournament. So in my head, I'm always like tournament driven. Like, I could go to Rayburn sometimes and just catch fish, and yet even when I find some fish, and this happened to me years and years ago, I would go find fish and I might not have a tournament for a month, and I'd be shaking off fish a month in advance, or like catch 2 or 3 and leave spots because I didn't want to like hammer those spots. because my mind was always like, find more stuff, find more stuff, find more stuff. So if I found 6 spots in a day, I don't sit there and catch them. I keep going and finding new stuff. Like, how do I find new stuff? Like, that is where my mind always goes to. How do I figure things out? Learning about fishing. I enjoy that as much as catching fish. Every once in a while, I just want to go out there and catch fish. Every once in a while. But it has to be good. Like, I want it to be good when I go do that, right? So if it's not great, I'm kind of up in the air about it. So which leads me back to, does tournaments kind of hurt it for some guys because do they not enjoy the fish part, the fish catching, the fish, doing all the fishing part? Is it not as fun for them because of tournaments? Well, yes, I can see how for some of those guys, that's what happens with tournament fishing and with bass fishing, and then how they feel about it. Which leads me back to Tawakoni. I know how to go catch fish on that lake. I think I can go catch 40, 50, 60 a day. Easily. I don't think it's gonna win me a tournament. Now it can be fun, and it can be fun catching fish, and that can be enjoyable and stuff like that. And I even know how to even do better. Like, there's one way I can go catch 40 or 50. There's another way I can catch like 20, and it's more of the way I even want to go fish. I'm even gonna learn a whole bunch of stuff when I catch that 40. Like, I can do a lot of different things now to catch 40, 50, or 60. I might not weigh in more than 12 pounds, or maybe I catch one big one and catch 15. But none of that's gonna win me the tournament. So instead, I went out there to do something different, and I caught 4, 5, 7, 6 or 7. 4 or 5 of them were on one spot. Only one of them was a decent one. And you're like, why are you doing it that way? Because I know that, I'm just telling you, I know that's the way to win the tournament. It wasn't fun. It was by far extremely frustrating. And that's what I do. So for some, that might not be fun. Like, that might not be what they want to do. And when they look at bass fishing and be like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just go catch them the way I want to catch them and stuff like that. I get it. I get it. So like, for some, I understand why tournament fishing isn't hurting bass fishing. I think a lot of guys fall into this other category of where they just don't like tournament fishermen. They don't like tournaments being on their lake and stuff like that. That's a whole nother video. I just look at that differently. It just cracks me up. I know someone made a video a long time ago about like, hey, when the elites or one of these big trails come to your lake, most tournament bass fishermen probably shouldn't be on the lake. That's a whole nother controversial thing. Like, you can't, when you say that, I agree, but that's just my own stance. That's a whole nother video. I laugh at people, they can't wait to jump on that and be like, I have the right to do all that. Okay, yeah, I know you have the right to do it. You have the right to do a lot of things. I have the right to do so many different things. I have the right to go yell and cuss people out for no reason. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't mean I should go do that. I'm a jerk for doing that. I'm not saying you're a jerk for being on the water. It's just funny to me, because if a big tournament, when they're having a TXTT championship right now on Rayburn, I have zero desire to be out there when those guys are out there. Zero. Plus, I have 4 lakes close by that I could go to any of those lakes and go fish. I don't have to be on that lake. I can take off 2 days from not being on that lake. It's not a big deal to me. Or if I really cared about it that much, I could actually go like in the evening time. But I don't do stuff like that. That's a whole nother topic. I can see how some guys look at tournament fishing and it takes away from this joy of bass fishing. What I don't think they understand is the joy that I get from bass fishing is actually the competition side and the figuring out side. So although I can agree with a lot of what they have to say about it, I will say this. Tournament fishing has pretty much brought about almost everything good in bass fishing. It's brought about almost every new technique. It's brought about, y'all don't like new technology, but like mapping, come on, mapping's phenomenal, right? No one ever got mad at mapping. No one ever looked at the map and go, oh, it's cool that I can go fishing offshore point. But for me that travels to new lakes, I'm like, oh, it looks like it's 2 foot right there. I shouldn't drive right there. Like, that's a big one for me. That's the biggest one. I was young with a boat that I couldn't damage, and it was nice knowing that I shouldn't drive over a certain spot because it showed it was shallow water, like some random hump, some random whatever out in the middle of the lake, right? That was like creek channels, whatever it was. So that all come from tournament fishing. I mean, all the new rods, the new reels, the new baits, the new techniques, like all that. I don't care what anyone says. That's all tournament based. Like even catching giant and bigger fish came from like tournament fishing. It really did. All of it. You might not have liked it, but that's where it originated from. So like even me, I'm just telling you, like all those guys going, hey, we're comfortable catching 3-pounders and it's fun catching them this way. And some guy comes along and figures out how to catch 5-pounders. And then you're like, well, you know, is it harder to do that? Do you have to go figure it out? All these different things? Yes, but it was worth it. I mean, I sat around on Rayburn and go catch tons of fish in the grass when I was younger. And I was looking at all these tournaments and I'm like, I got to figure out another way to beat these guys. I went out there and figured out how to catch 30 pounds away from the grass, kind of before anyone was really doing it. And so I was doing that, and I started learning how to catch these like freaking giants. It was a lot more fun. It was pretty cool catching those big ones. I can go do the other, but I can now go do this. Look at it from both sides. Here's the other thing. I can see some guys looking up going, when I bass fish and how I grew up bass fishing doesn't look like the way they tournament fish now doesn't look like the way I grew up bass fishing. I can't argue with them on that. No doubt. No doubt. Some people still love getting, like, feeling that thump on a worm. Some guys still love watching a topwater bite. I do. I do the new stuff to learn and to compete in tournaments, but there's a lot of things that I love to go. I mean, if I could just go catch 50 fish on a topwater today, I'll carry my one topwater and go after it. I do feel that sometimes that gets taken away, and I don't know if we'll ever get back. I don't know if people want to go back. Think about this. Think about asking some high schooler this question. They wouldn't even understand what you're saying, but in 20 years, this is what I always worry about. They're going to be like, man, bass fishing isn't the same, and no one's even doing it the same. Tournaments are different. It's all just, there might be, I can see tournament fishing almost being just for fun with no money involved, no it'll just be watered down, this weird high stakes club event to where it's like really, really rich people, a whole bunch of people with money are doing it to see who can get the biggest ribbon or the biggest fake trophy. I can see that happening. I think that's already happening. I think it's totally turning into that. More bragging rights about who can brag more about what they did, but they didn't really get anything for it. And yet that's where I can see some guys going, yeah, I don't think tournament fishing is as good as it once was. And that's maybe why it's hurting this bass fishing as we like to see it and viewed it. Because I think at one point in time, it was very you against the fish. And now it seems very much you against other people, not so much the fish, if that makes sense. And this like mystery behind it. I don't think there's as much mystery behind the fishing as there once was. And the hard work. Not the long hours. The hard hours. The long work of like miserable hours to figure that out. That's where I think it's changed. Let me know what you all think.